In this video, we will see how to proceed with K-means clustering algorithm based upon Euclidean distance. And then we will see how to find the number of clusters K by means of elbow method. So suppose if I give you that this is your data points, you are going to create two clusters by using Euclidean distance measure, how to proceed. So just I'll tell you how to compute the distance. Other processes are same. So in this, you are going to assume out of the given data points, any 2 points, because the number of clusters is 2. So I'm going to assume that A 2, 2 and C 1, 1 are the center of the two clusters. How I got this? Here totally 5 points are given, A, B, C, D, E. In that, I am assuming 2 points as centroids randomly. That is nothing but A and C, I am assuming as centroids. Once I do that, I have to consider every point, calculate the distance of that point from the two centroids. I am assuming that the first centroid is 2, 2, that is given by C1. And the second centroid is 1, 1, that is C2. Okay, now I am going to compute the distance of the point A from both the centroids. Then whichever it is closer to, I am going to associate the point with that particular centroid. Now I am going to use Euclidean distance. So I can calculate the distance of the point A, which is nothing but 2, 2, from the first centroid, which is nothing but 2, 2. So if you apply this formula, you will be getting 0. Suppose if I calculate the distance of the point A from the second centroid, which is nothing but point C, the equation will be square root of, you subtract the first dimension, okay, and then take square, that is nothing but 1 minus 2 the whole square, then subtract the second dimension and take the square, again it is 1 minus 2 the whole square, then finally square root. So the value is 1.41. So now I have calculated the distance using Euclidean formula, apply that. So for the first point A, we have calculated the distance from the first cluster centroid and the second centroid. Likewise, you compute for all the points, then you associate the points to the particular clusters. For example, point A is now associated with cluster 1 because it is the minimum distance, and point B is associated with cluster 1. So I am writing C1 here. Then point C is associated with cluster 2 because that is having the distance as 0. Then point D with C1 and point E with C2. Then you proceed as per the criteria given in the question. But now I have given this only to understand how to calculate the Euclidean distance. Now, I hope both the metrics are clear to you, how to cluster the objects based upon the K-means algorithm. Now let us see what are the advantages and disadvantages we have in the K-means algorithm. So the advantages of the K-means are, the algorithm is simple, easy to understand, and easy to implement also. And this algorithm is efficient also because the time taken to cluster K-means rises linearly with the number of data points. We will see in the next slide. And also this clustering algorithm performs better than all the algorithms. And this is, no other algorithm is performing better than the K-means algorithm. And the disadvantages of K-means algorithm are, initially when you want to start the algorithm, you should know what is the value of K. Who is going to specify the value of K? If I am the user, if I am giving you value of K is 5, you will be getting some output. If the value of K is 10, you will get some other output. So the value of K is very important in this algorithm. So that is one disadvantage. User has to specify the value of the K, that is number of clusters. And also, sometimes when you run the algorithm, the process of finding the clusters may not converge. What is the meaning of converging? You got the final answer. In the example, I told you, stop your algorithm for after 2 iterations. If I don't give that word, you have to continue your algorithm until there is no change in the clustering. Okay. Sometimes what will happen is you will not reach that particular case at all. The process of finding the clusters may not converge. You will not reach the stopping criteria. Then how to stop? That is the other question. So now let us consider the strength of the K-means. It is simple, easy to understand and implement. It is efficient. If you consider the time complexity of the K-means algorithm, it is order of T multiplied by K multiplied by N. Here N is nothing but number of data points in your data set. When you get more number of data points, you have to find centroid for all the data points. So the time complexity depends upon the number of data points, as well as it depends upon the number of clusters. Because if I give you 2 clusters, you find the centroid of every point from the 2 clusters. If I tell that it is 10 cluster, you have to do more computation. So the time complexity depends upon the number of clusters also, and also it depends upon the number of iterations. If you stop earlier, the time complexity is less. But if you proceed until your algorithm converges, the time taken will be more. Okay, so these are all the factors deciding the running time of your algorithm. And here, generally, when we go for implementation, we will select small value of k as 3 clusters or 5 clusters. And also number of iterations, we will stop with a few iterations. Since both these values are small, the k-means algorithm is considered as a linear algorithm. When they are small, you can neglect them and you can write that the time complexity is proportional to order of n, which is nothing but data points. So you will say that it is a linear algorithm. And this is the most popular clustering algorithm available. In k-means, I told that the main drawback of the k-means algorithm is we should know how to find the optimal number of clusters, because you have to set it at the beginning of the algorithm itself, then only the algorithm will proceed. So how to find the optimal number of clusters in k-means clustering algorithm? For that, we have a method. We are going to focus that now. There are different methods available. I am going to focus a very important method, which is called as elbow method. So let us see what is that. So the performance of the k-means clustering algorithm mainly depends upon the k value, what you are selecting at the beginning of the algorithm. But choosing the optimal number of clusters is a big task. If you don't choose this properly, then definitely your algorithm will not be working fine. So we have a method called elbow method. It is one of the most popular methods that is available to find the optimal value of the number of clusters k. Now let us see how to proceed with the elbow method. So in case of elbow method, it is going to work on something called as within cluster sum of squares. So try to understand this term. You are going to find sum of squares within the cluster. Okay, and this metric is used as a measure to find the optimal number of clusters for any given data set. So this is represented as WSS, stands for within cluster sum of squares. In sometimes they are writing WCSS also. So by using this metric, you can find the optimal number of clusters. So let us see how it is going to work. So this metric WSS is defined as the sum of squared distance between each member of the cluster and its centroid. So whatever number of clusters you have to take every member in that particular cluster and find the distance between that member and the centroid of that cluster. That is xi minus ci, square it. Once you do that, find the sum of square for all the clusters. So this is called as WSS. And in this algorithm, the step is, first you are going to execute the k-means clustering algorithm for any given data set for different k values. You have to change the k value one by one. First, you can set the number of clusters as 2, then increase to 3, then 4, and so on till you want the maximum number of clusters. So change the value of k. For example, I can select the value of k ranging from 1 to 10. That means that my number of clusters is going to change from 1 to 10. Then you apply the k-means clustering algorithm for different values of k. So the different clusters will be performed as per the k value you are setting. After that, for that particular k value, you calculate what is this WSS. Once you do that, you plot a curve between the calculated WSS value and the number of clusters. So that curve is going to follow an elbow pattern. Let us see how the curve will be. So here you can see in the x-axis, I am changing the number of clusters k from 1 to 10. I am varying it. And in the y-axis, I am going to get the WSS. I am going to plot it. So the y-axis stands for our WSS parameter. Okay, so once you plot it, you are going to get the graph like this. If you see the graph, you will come to know why it is called as elbow method. If you see the graph, it shows a sharp bend that looks like an elbow. You can see here the spot. So this is like an elbow. This part you can see when we keep our hand, it is like an elbow. Okay, so it is called as elbow method. The sharp point of the bend or the point of the plot looks like an arm, and that point is considered as the best value of k. So if you see here, this point, it is the sharp bend. Okay, so this is going to give you what is the optimal number of cluster. So how to find the optimal number of cluster now? After plotting this is a sharp bend. I have to see what is the value of k at that particular point. So the value of k at that point is 3. That means that the optimal number of clusters will be now 3. Okay, so this graph is going to tell you that When the number of clusters is 1, the distortion, that is nothing but the WSS parameter is more. And when you are increasing the number of clusters, the WSS is decreasing. Okay, after reaching a particular point, it is not decreasing drastically. It is decreasing gradually only. Okay, so this changeover point is now going to determine the optimal number of clusters. So according to this particular example, it is now set as 3. Once you find the optimal number of clusters, after that you can again run your k-means algorithm, set the number of clusters as 3. Then you can find various clusters as per your data set.